Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. The price of XRP has dropped as low as $2.39 today, as of the time that I'm recording this anyway. So is there a problem? Why won't this thing just go? Well, first of all, the entire crypto asset class is down today with only rare exceptions. So there's a bunch of scaredy cats out there, but one of the things I want to highlight in this latest Moon Lambo hot jam is that even though at times it can feel like the sky is falling, when to you subjectively feel as though the price is dropping way too much for it to be indicating that everything is okay. It has to be something more than that. It has to be that there must be some underlying problem, and it's going to keep doing that. Those are the types of emotions you'll feel, right? What I want to highlight is that even at times when it feels like that, more often than not, you're actually just in a range. Now, in the world of crypto, since it's the most volatile crypto asset class on the entire damn planet, there's never been anything like this before, in fact. Because it's so volatile, even trading within what would be a normal range for crypto may make you subjectively feel like there is something wrong, even if actually everything's performing in a perfectly reasonable manner from a chart perspective and from a historical perspective. And today, that is the case here. Like, I'll just tell you at the outset, if you're concerned, like this, it doesn't make logical sense to me. I can understand why you would be. I can intellectually understand that. But that's why I want to share some information with you. This is not a time to be afraid. If we reach a time that's a serious deviation, then we'll talk about it. We're not there. This is very normal, actually. And I'm going to share with you perspective from 7 different XRP chart analysts. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. As I record this video, it is 3:08 p.m. Central Time, Monday, February 24th, 2025. XRP is now $2.40. Bitcoin is at $93,835. You can see the 24-hour XRP price chart here. And here's the 24-hour Bitcoin price chart. You can see that they look very similar because the asset class moves in tandem. So to be clear, even if XRP does go lower, which is possible, we'll talk about that, it does not mean that there is something exclusively wrong with XRP. But, and let's back out even further again, as I was hinting at, not even hinting, blatantly stating, there's also not a problem with the entire crypto asset class. So first, let me start by sharing with you this post from chart analyst Credible Crypto. This one's from 3 days ago. Now, in this post, Credible Crypto took a lot of heat, and I think he's one of the better analysts out there. There's a reason that he's got 463,000 followers on X. But he was taking heat here because he was warning that Bitcoin could, and he wasn't promising this, but he was warning at the time that Bitcoin was $95,000 a few days ago, that Bitcoin could get into the lower to mid $80,000 region, and that he'd actually like that for a nice setup for moving forward. But he wasn't even promising that could happen. He just recognizes that such price action, in his estimation anyway, is within a particular range that wouldn't constitute some sort of deviation that would ruin some sort of chart structure, nothing of the sort there. He's just saying that it could happen. Now, if that happens, and he, as far as, he stated he still thinks that's in the cards, that would scare the hell out of people, wouldn't it? But if you're a chart guy like him, and you believe that the range has particular upper and lower bounds, and that's inside of it, you're not going to freak out, right? And that is his position here. And you can ask a different chart analyst what a reasonable range is, and you'll get a slightly different answer. And that's fine. I'm talking about broad concepts here. You need to understand the concepts, because not knowing this stuff is normal, that's what's going to scare you, and that's what can cause you to make very poor financial decisions based on your feels. And so here's what he wrote. On the higher time frame for Bitcoin, it would be nice to have this multi-month consolidation complete with a clean base as pictured before the next impulse begins. Focus right now is on 2 ranges, one lower time frame, which is blue, and one higher time frame, which is black. We may or may not visit the highs of the lower time range first, which is the blue arrow, but ideally would love to see a deviation below the higher time frame range lows before a reversal, reclaim an impulsive move to the upside. And so, just to be clear, his conviction is that even if we were to see those lower levels in the 80,000s, he'd like it because he believes not only is that normal from a chart perspective, that would be a perfect setup for Bitcoin to then launch up to new all-time highs and enter further price discovery. And he firmly believes that XRP is going to follow. He's been very clear about this. He's been, for the longest time, displaying his conviction that XRP this cycle is going to exceed $20. And so we'll see whether he's right or he's wrong. I don't pretend to know. But nothing's changed here. It can feel like the sky's falling on a day-to-day basis, but it's not actually. And so somebody named Bank Specialist responded to that and said, "Thanks, I've been following you for a little while, Credible Crypto. Don't mean to be rude, but you seem to consistently have a bias for a heavy lower time frame flush before we rally hard. This is what caught you off guard before the November 2024 rally. Are you making the same mistake here?" Okay, and so that's a fair enough question. And understand that when we are talking about perspective from chart analysts, it's about probability of outcomes. And sometimes they're going to be off in their takes, even if they're really good at this stuff. And also sometimes the improbable happens. So even if it made perfectly logical sense to think that something was the most likely outcome, sometimes the improbable thing happens regardless. So even if there wasn't an error in the thinking, the improbable still occurs. But here's what he said about this, and I'm highlighting this because he's making the point again here that we're just ranging. So even if that happens, it's not the end of the world. And so even as low as we've gotten into the 93,000s for Bitcoin, with XRP as low as $2.39 as of the time I'm recording this anyway, nothing's weird or broken here is the point. Even if it feels like it to you, it isn't, right? And so he says, "We're in a range, brother. A move to the range lows is not a heavy flush. It's just a move to the range lows. When in a range, it's logical to expect ranging price action." So folks, this is why I'm highlighting this. We are just in a range right now. And the range can go lower than this. And again, ask a different chart analyst, get a different parameter as far as what the upper and lower boundaries are, fine, but we're still in a range. This isn't weird. And then he says, "Yes, eventually we will break out, which is why I'm spot heavy and am not advocating for people to be selling here, but rather looking for ideal buy opportunities if we get them. I was caught off guard in the November 24 rally after correctly calling for 4 dips from the range highs to the range lows in an 8+ month range. Eventually, the last one I was wrong about. Point is, I'd rather be right 4 times and wrong the 5th than wrong 4 times in a row before finally getting something right, because I refuse to acknowledge the possibility of a move to range lows while in a range." Yep, spot on. And that's why I wanted to share this. There's nothing weird happening here. And then there was also this post from Raoul Pal. Big fan of Raoul Pal. Here he shared this post with his 1.1 million followers. He is the founder and CEO of Global Macro Investor, GMI, and Real Vision, a very popular figure in the world of crypto, former Goldman Sachs exec. He is open-minded. He does hold XRP. He's now pro XRP. He actually, although he's been pro XRP for a number of years, he was actually, and he got this call wrong and he admitted it, so credit where it's due. He actually thought that XRP wasn't likely to be moving up prior to the election, but then it started moving, and he openly admitted he was wrong. And I think that is a mark of true character, so I applauded him for doing that. He's never been some sort of troll. He's just an intellectually honest individual, in my estimation. But he's showing some historical perspective here. So let me just share this with you, and then I've got perspective from 7 different XRP chart analysts, and we'll get into it. But I just want to kind of set the table here to explain it doesn't make sense to freak out here, okay? And so here he wrote, "You guys all need to learn patience." This was 2017, the chart he's shown here. Very similar macro structure. 5 times there were 28% or higher pullbacks in Bitcoin. Most lasted 2 to 3 months before a new high. Altcoins saw 65% corrections. All were noise. Go do something else more constructive than stare at this screen. Well, I'm going to keep staring at the screen because it doesn't scare me and I have fun watching this stuff and tracking it. But thank you. Thank you for the wisdom. But he is right here. It's historically normal for there to be massive pullbacks that can drag on for long periods of time. They beat down people emotionally. And think about that. So the emotions, if you're one of the people that's feeling the negative emotions, you're a normal human, so you're not like weird or bad or stupid or anything, you're normal. But it's better to be weird then, because being normal means you are like broken and beaten down and feeling these things here. And so whatever you're feeling here, if it's negative, understand that people were feeling that in 2017. And with your benefit of hindsight, all the knowledge you have today, knowing that how low prices were back then, wouldn't you be elated if you could jump in and buy in those moments of fear in 2017? Well, the answer is yes, I would hope so, right? But then here we are in 2025. Well, somebody's going to look back another 8 years from now and be like, oh man, if I just could have been there in 2025 in those moments of fear and just swooped that up. Yeah, exactly. And here you are being fearful, okay? And that's why even if the sky really does fall, and even if there is a true deviation and we do enter a bear market, okay, well, is it so crypto's over forever? No, of course not. That just will present more opportunity for buying, and then the market, of course, will rebound. Just like when the stock market craters and you go into a bear market, it eventually rebounds. That's the point. Did you guys catch this post and video today from the blockchain backer? He had some interesting stuff to say. So first, this post. This is from this morning. He said, the XRP price is starting to reach levels that are reasonable to start looking for bottoming price action. Whether this level holds or one more dip, it seems like this range action is getting close to being over. Video will be out in 1 to 2 hours. And I'm sure many of you have caught that video. Great video. It went on for like 25 minutes. And I just want to share with you a few key takeaways. You should definitely check it out. He goes into great depth articulating why he believes what he believes. But again, he does think that we are either at or very near the bottom in terms of price action for XRP specifically. And he can't rule out a final price flush for XRP, which could take it lower. But he noted that $2.40 is a notable support level. And when he, by the way, when he was recording that video, I could be mistaken, but I think the price of XRP hadn't dipped that low. Might have been closer to 250. I apologize if I'm mistaken on that. I think that's the case though. Either way, he said $2.40 is a notable support level. But it could go lower, maybe down to like $2.20, for example. But, such movement would just be ranging, by the way, which is normal in crypto. And he said if price, if it goes back above like $2.65 roughly, to him, that would be enough to convince him that the dip that we're seeing today, it's probably over. Because again, this is just ranging price action. This is not something he's freaking out about, even if it's making you feel something negative. Well, that's what markets do. But, he thinks the market will likely bottom within the next day or two. If you were like basically forced to give some sort of time estimation, he's not promising anything, but he said if he had to, and he doesn't like to do it, but it would probably take another day or two. So there certainly is an opportunity for the price to go lower, but we don't know, and that's okay. Chart analysts are not wizards. They're not Nostradamus. They can't literally see into the future. It's about chart structure and historical precedent. You can come to reasonable conclusions in crypto, right? So maybe we do go lower. Okay. People freak out even further. I'll be straight up chilling. You can come hang out in Moon Lambo if you're freaking out. I will soothe your weary soul. Okay, it's gonna be okay. Here's a post from chart analyst Peppa XRP update. We back at support. The blue line must hold. So of course that would be right on this trend line. He says otherwise we're probably going to tank to $1.50 or at least to $2. So in my opinion, it's either blue or red. If we bounce here, it's likely that we're going to print a similar breakout price action fractal like January 6th, which is in orange. And he says, what do you guys think? It's literally now or never. So, fair enough point. There are moments of concern even in the last few months, but look what XRP ultimately did. So I would just say, even if we do go lower, there's all sorts of analysts that say even around $2.20, that doesn't mean anything's broken. Here's a post from chart analyst Dom. XRP says, still one of the better looking charts out there. Price is essentially right back to the point of control since the election, highest traded volume price level. $2.25 is the lowest we want to see it go to keep the current structure intact. Anything under that becomes questionable. I'm sure that means Bitcoin is under $90,000. You can see, and by the way, when he says that, just to be clear, he's saying if XRP is that low, that then he would believe under that circumstance, that must mean it's there because Bitcoin is under $90,000. And then he says, you can see where all VWAPs are stationed, which act as important short-term levels. Still just following Bitcoin, of course, and that chart doesn't necessarily look the best. Okay. So what if we do go a little bit lower? I don't know what the price of XRP is by the time you're watching this. Could be lower, could be about the same, could be higher. I'd always admit I don't know. What I'm hitting on here is that it doesn't matter in the end. I'm sharing this with you so that you get perspectives from a number of different analysts, all of whom are not freaking out. And all of these analysts that I'm sharing perspective from, they predicted accurately that XRP would be breaking out to the upside. They don't think the chart structure is broken. That's a key takeaway. Here's a post from Crypto Insight UK, XRP USD chart here, and he's sharing some key levels. He simply wrote, XRP, last week we discussed these 3 green levels as areas of liquidity. We are touching the first level now. And he posted that this morning. Here you can see he's highlighting What do we got? So $2.46. He posted that, and then he's showing other key levels as $2.32 and $2.26. So yet another analyst noting key levels, and I know enough from following him, he wouldn't think this would break anything. If XRP actually goes that low, which is possible, it doesn't mean anything's broken. Welcome to crypto. This is ranging. Eventually, we'll get another impulsive move to the upside. XRP will hit a new all-time high in enterprise discovery. That's what I believe. I just don't pretend to know when. But I don't have to. I'm not a chart analyst. I'm a regular dude just like all of you people. There's nothing special about me. I just have the right approach to this. Psychologically, I certainly believe. And my strategy is simple. I buy stuff and then I do nothing. That's it. I have nothing to sell you as a result. There's no course to buy for me. It's I buy stuff and then I don't do anything. And then you just gotta track stuff to keep your mental state in balance, because when it comes to investing, we as humans are our own worst enemies. So we gotta beat ourselves in that sense. You know what I mean? Here's a post from Dark Defender. He simply wrote, "We expected a positive break towards $2.60, which we knew was critical. If it were unsuccessful, we would touch $2.44. XRP touched and bounced at $2.60, got rejected, and sharply moved to $2.44. And then he highlighted some text on the screen here from a private group where he was just indicated that, yeah, this is all within the boundaries of what is normal, which is the reason I'm highlighting this. Again, nothing is wrong, nothing is broken. This is regular volatility in crypto, even if to you it feels subjectively like too much. It feels subjectively to you like something must be wrong. It is not. But that's what the markets do to people. They cause people to feel that, and then they emotionally respond and they panic sell. That's what they do. So you can, I'm not telling you to buy or sell. I don't know what's best for you. I absolutely do not. But what I'm telling you is this is what the market does to humans. And so I'm aware of this, and then I just don't act like the typical lemming retail speculators. That's it. Here's a post from Greg Crypto. 12-hour time frame, XRP. Take a look at the previous post from February 12th, but I'll simplify things for you. Check the colored comments, and that's what he's highlighting right here. It says we closed above $2.60, which is a bullish sign. However, we struggled to close above $2.85. Our key focus now is not to drop below $2.30, as that could trigger a free fall to lower targets. In my opinion, we might experience some range-bound movement until we see a breakout. Let's stay alert and watch for those key levels." And so yet another analyst who is not afraid by a range. That's why I'm trying to drive this point home. Everything is normal. You got to get used to this in crypto, though. It's very normal to be, in these ranges, and it may feel like a lot to you, but it's just normal, actually. It's not some sort of problem here. And you may have noticed that if you ask a different chart analyst the same question, you're going to get slightly different parameters. You may hear $2.20. You may hear $2. In this case with eGrid Crypto, we talked about $2.30. So even if they're going to slightly disagree on what the range parameters are, the idea stands true. This volatility within a range is very normal. They all know this. That's the point. Here's a post. This is an article from Rakesh Upde, who writes for Cointelegraph. And here's what he had to say. Where'd it go? Down here. About XRP. XRP broke below the 20-day EMA on February 21st and continued its drop toward the support line of the symmetrical triangle pattern. Buyers are expected to defend the support line, but the relief rally is likely to face selling at the 20-day exponential moving average. If the price turns down sharply from the 20-day EMA, it will suggest that the bears continue to sell on rallies. The XRP USDT pair then risks a fall below the support line. If that happens, the pair could collapse to $1.77. Okay. I think there may be only two XRP chart analysts that I follow that, at least to this point, I've seen even talk about the potential of XRP going below $2. The other one was Peppa. I highlighted that also. So although they all acknowledge, from what I've seen anyway, yes, XRP could go lower, that would still be within a range, not some sort of unreasonable deviation. Most aren't talking about below $2. So, if it happens, though, we'll talk about it. If there's something truly wacky happening. But probably not, because usually that's not what happens. It's just not what happens. And this is also why having a truly long-term approach, like a multi-year approach, it's crucial. It really is, because you don't know for sure when stuff is going to happen. And if you just have a sufficiently long-term approach, that's how you achieve the life-changing wealth. Time in the market, not timing the market. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.